everyone, how you doing? It's time for the Ruby Girl Talk with your favorite Ruby Girl, Dr. K, and I have some fabulous people that's with me this evening. When I tell you I'm bringing it, I got a group that's standing behind me like Jesus had a legion of angels. I got 5 angels that's appearing tonight on the talk show. So I'm excited. I wanted to ask them questions before we even begin because tonight we're talking about a phenomenal book. It's called the Titus 2 Principle, and I'll make sure I get it right, y'all. I don't want to mess up nothing. It's called Reach, Teach, and Lead. Did I get some points on that?
You got it right.
RTL, Reach, Teach, and Lead. And it makes sense because once you reach the people, then you want to teach them, and then you want to be a leader or lead them in the way that they should go. I got it now. All right, y'all. So, okay, before we get started, I want everybody to go on my page, find this video, and share it with your audience. That way, your audience can comment, they can participate, and they can cheer you on, ladies. So, while you do that, I'm going to tell everybody about Ruby Girl. So, Ruby Girl comes from Proverbs 31:10. Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above the price of a ruby. So, ladies, just for you, it makes you virtuous, rare, and valuable. And so I always say an empowered woman is a woman that knows her worth. She will not compromise. She will not count herself short. And she'll be confident in how she moves and in her life. So Ruby Girl is actually a movement. We're trying to restore the respect of the woman. Somewhere along this feminine movement, we lost some of the respect that men would give us. But guess what? We're going to get our respect back, and Ruby Girl is going to help us get it back. So I love the concept of Ruby Girl, not just because I'm the founder, but because God created it long time ago in the word. He placed in there in Proverbs 31:10 our worth and our value. So we'll never forget. We do not depreciate no matter where you at. So you can reach me at rubygirl.net, and while you're there, get my new book. While you're there, buy some merchandise. Just have fun, explore the site, and support rubygirl.net. All right, let's get started. So if you're a regular guest, you know what you're supposed to do. Is something really free. I'm sorry, if you're a regular person that watched the show, you know what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to share it. You're supposed to be ready to hit that like button. You're supposed to have your fingers ready to put some comments. So, stretch your fingers a little bit because tonight you're going to really want to comment on this. Get ready to share. Share is free. While it's free, do it. So, all right, let's start with Dr. Anissa Short. I want her to introduce herself first.
Hey, everybody. Great Tuesday. It is Tuesday, right? Great Tuesday night. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. All that good stuff. I am Dr. Anissa Short. I live in the city of Fayetteville, North Carolina. I'm an author, speaker, entrepreneur. I am my husband's awesome wife. I am my mother and father's number one. I'm one of 2 awesome daughters. I'm a woman who loves to meet people. I love ice cream. I love traveling. Any place that has a beach and the ocean. You can never go wrong. So that's a little bit about me.
All right. Oh, give us your website in case we want to
My
reach out to
website
you.
is simple, anissashort.com. You
Okay.
can find
All
me
right.
there.
Thank you, Dr. Anissa. I
You're
like
very
that. I love your introduction. See, that's what I'm talking about. Ruby girls come with confidence. All right. Who's next on the roster would be Mrs. Jen Cooke. Go right ahead.
Hello, everybody. As she said, my name is Jen Cooke. I'm a mom of a senior in college in Wilmington, North Carolina. And actually, this past week, I moved from Fayetteville, North Carolina to Wilmington, North Carolina. And my chapter is about teaching, which I got out of for a while. But today, I also started at a new job teaching. So I'm by the beach, Dr. Short, and you need to come visit. And I'm teaching again. So it's a super exciting season in my life. And we have this book.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You have a website?
Oh, thank you.
Can you tell us how to touch with you?
Yes, thank you. So Jen Cooke with the E on Cook, like it's spelled on the screen, JenCookCreative.com. CREATIVE.
All right. Thank you, Miss Jen. Thank you so much. Miss Tiffany.
Hello,
How are
my
you?
I'm doing well. My name is Tiffany Haywood. I am a shepreneur. I am a brand builder and consultant. I'm also a lifestyle blogger. And then on top of all of that, I am the mom of 5. Thankfully, one of those 5 is 26, so I don't necessarily have to count him as much anymore. But I also have 4 at home. I'm super excited to be a part of this anthology and this project. It held a special place in my heart as soon as Dr. Short shared what the concept was. So I'm excited to share it with you guys tonight. If anybody would like to get in touch with me, they can find me at tiffanyhaywood.com. I love that we're all keeping it kind of simple. It's our names.com. So be sure to look me up if you want, and we can touch bases. You can find me on social media as well. And yeah, I'm excited for what we're going to chat about today.
All right, thank you, Tiffany. I love that. I love the way you spoke and everything. All right, I'll give you 2 points for that. Jen, she's leading on the points tonight. So, Miss Monica, could you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Absolutely. My name is Monica Bowens, and I'm also very thrilled to be here today. I live in Fayetteville, North Carolina. I am a spouse. I have an awesome husband. He has a most wonderful wife. And I am a student. I'm actually working on my PhD. I have been bitten by the wanderlust bug, so I love to travel. I love going to the beach, Jen. So I may be visiting you soon. And I am an author. I have another book that I've done in the past, but I am really excited to be here. This opportunity gave me the chance to talk about some personal things that I don't usually get to speak on. So I'm looking forward to everyone reading that. And my profession, I am a licensed clinical social worker. Thank you for this opportunity.
Oh, you're welcome. Did you give your contact information?
I did not.
Okay.
So you can email me at missmonicahaynes@gmail.com, and my website is bowenscounselingservices.com.
Okay. Could you spell Haynes for us? Because it's so unique.
Absolutely. It's Haynes.
Okay, great, great. I want them to know that unique name that you got out there. So thank you so much, Monica, for being a part of the show. And Miss Zenaida, did I say it right?
Zenaida.
Zenaida. You got a
Yes.
nickname?
Hello, good
Look.
evening, everyone. Just call me Z. Today is
Okay.
going to be Z. Z and K. Good evening, everyone. My name is Zenaida Cranford. I am a Caribbean native, born in the island of St. Croix, U.S. Virgin Islands. I am a mom of 4, a seasoned military spouse, like a few of the ladies here on today. I am a certified coach practitioner. I help individuals with chronic procrastination. Yes, that's what I do. I am a teen mentor and a community philanthropist, and I am rooted here in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Everyone can find me simple in all social platforms on Zenaida Cranford, or you can find me at zenwithmelifecoaching.com. That is zenwithmelifecoaching.com. Thank you guys. Great opportunity.
You know what really stood out when you said you help people with procrastination? So I was like, she either gonna have a lot of clients or she not, because people gonna be procrastinating. Like, I'm gonna call it. No, I'm not. I'm gonna call it tomorrow. Maybe, so so I'm
It's
sitting up
very
there thinking,
intimidating.
yes, I'm sitting up here thinking like, oh my goodness, I really need to connect with you, because I think procrastination is what a lot of people do. But you know what I did find out, Missy, is that it can become a spirit if you don't address that. I met a guy that he couldn't do anything because he would procrastinate so hard. So he was just non-productive in his life. So thank you. Thank you for addressing that. So all right, y'all, are y'all ready?
Yes.
Let's start with the $1,000,000 question for Dr. Anissa. Dr. Anissa, tonight we're going to discuss, and we already told the audience your latest book, the Titus 2 Principle, Reach, Teach, Lead. Now, I need you to provide some insight into how you came up with this revelation of the principles from Titus 2.
Okay, so first let me say, Dr. K, I appreciate you opening this opportunity up for not only myself, but for some of the ladies. And well, it's a total of 12 of us, mostly women, 3 men are a part of the project. So I appreciate you allowing your platform to be our kickoff to our virtual tour to talk about this book. To your point, or to your question, honestly, the concept of the book was given to me about 15 years ago. Let's talk about procrastination, Zenaida. Okay. So 15 years ago, I was in kind of a wilderness place. I had just made a transition from leaving my good government job, and was the kind of like, what am I supposed to do? You know, I had already been engaged as an entrepreneur, working with women in one capacity. That was just a little side thing. And I was really just kind of, I guess you could say, deep diving or soul searching or what have you. And so it was impressed upon me 3 different places in the Word of God, because that's where I go as a believer. When I have questions, that's my first choice, you know, my first source. So three different scripture references were given to me in answer to the questions that I posed in my soul searching, right? And so the Titus 2 principle was one of the 3. Okay, so the concept behind it, of course, it didn't jump out at me at first, because for those who are familiar with their scripture reference, it makes reference to us being examples, and not only that, it makes reference to older men teaching the younger men to do certain things, and older women to teach younger women. And it really specifically says to be good wives and to take care of your children and to keep a good home. And of course, that didn't sound sexy to me. So I was like, God, are you serious? I mean, really. But the revelation behind that is the principle is not literally the word, which it is literal, because you don't want to take this literal. It has everything to do with mentorship. Is those of us who are more mature, who are more experienced, should always be bringing somebody else along. That's the principle. And so in thinking about that, I was like, wow. So if you are a coach, you're coaching as an occupation, but then who are the people you're mentoring to become coaches? Or as a mom, you're a mother, you know, we know what that requires, but then the responsibility, we always see it in the sense of a mom and dad, you know, parental situation, but even professionally, think about the people when you work in a professional setting, they're usually mentees or interns or apprentices that you bring along. And I think some of that concept or some of that philosophy of mentoring is lost. And so when I was having my come to Jesus moment, so to say, I was like, okay, so God, what I'm supposed to be a mentor. So that was a revelation that the work that I am to do is to serve in the capacity of a mentor, whether it be one-on-one or in a group setting. Everything that I am to give is to help to support others. You follow me? So the book itself, I didn't want it to be it. I was like, okay, I know I'm supposed to write this book, but am I supposed to write it? Or am I supposed to facilitate? You know, it wasn't until the anthology concept after moving to Fayetteville was presented to me. And I was like, I want this book to represent the voices of several people from varied perspectives, because it's not just my voice. It's everybody has a story to tell. So I just put it out there. Who wants to write a book? And all these people showed up. So yeah, so that's the whole premise of the story. They either wrote a story about they shared how they served as a mentor and how it made a difference in the lives of others, or they saluted the person who made an impact on their lives, you know. So it was their stories were written from one or two perspectives. And so we brought it together. And let me tell you, Dr. K, they hit it out of the park. I was reading everybody's story. I was like, oh, this is so good. Oh, this is juicy good. Oh, I'm so glad she shared this, you know. So I'm thankful that they trusted me with this assignment and chose to be a part of this collaboration.
And I like how you said mentor. We don't think as believers that we're actually mentors. And maybe because we don't understand the full meaning. So while you were talking, I looked it up. A mentor acts as a guide, advisor, or teacher to the mentee who seeks to grow and develop as a professional or as a person. No, how can I put it? You can't grow any better than growing in Christ and growing with Christ. So we might think is lightly, oh, okay, I'm saved. We have such a, how can I put it, a sphere of influence with people that we
Period.
don't understand that we are influencers. I know how they say on Instagram, you got all these followers, but we are spiritual influencers because we can lead people to Christ or we can lead people away from Christ. And
Right.
that's what I like about Titus 2. It's giving us the basic principles of behavior and how we're supposed to conduct ourselves and who we're supposed to help. It's like how they say each one reach one. So once
Yeah.
you go up, you always have to be reaching
Bring
back, helping
somebody with you.
somebody else.
Right.
Yes. So I
Right.
love
Dr. Kate,
uh-huh.
I appreciate you making reference to that. One other thing I want to add to what you shared is this, is that as a believer, if I'm to be salt and light in the world, it's not just, it's, you know, being a believer and teaching people about the goodness of God by example is one thing. But not only that, in the occupation or the vocation for which I have been assigned to, I am still a mentor. So it's that part of it. And a lot of times in the Christian community, you know, we're really good about saying God is good and God is good all the time, and you need to accept, but then we don't transfer that same principle to other aspects of our lives. And it should be a part of our life. It should be a lifestyle. And it might be intentional where I'm grabbing one person and saying, listen, I want you to stay at my hip because I want to help you. Or it's just who you are as you matriculate through life, that you're always planting seeds and supporting and encouraging and mentoring and providing advice. So it can be either or both.
Amen. Amen. Preach. Offering time, y'all. You ready? Thank you, Dr. Anissa. Thank you so much for bringing clarity to the title of the book, the content of the book. So I know y'all so excited. Can't wait to get this book. I'm excited too. I can't wait to read it because, like I said, we read certain verses, but we might just skip lightly over them. But God is bringing this out, and even though it took you 15 years, think about it, it's great for such a time as this.
I
It's
believe so.
always such a time as this. We might think we're procrastinating, but God has his perfect timing.
That's
So
true.
thank you so much for finally stepping out the boat and inviting these 12 wonderful ladies and also gentlemen to help you along to bring your vision to pass. All right, ladies, are you ready now? Okay, I got a few questions for y'all. So we're going to start with, I want each one of you to share what you wrote about in your book. And then I want you to tell me, does it reach, does it teach or lead, or does it do all three? So we're going to start with Miss Monica.
Okay, thank you for that. So as I stated, I am a licensed clinical social worker. So I have the opportunity of mentoring other people daily. I also do that in my personal life with the personal projects that I take on or the things that I do with my husband. So my approach to the chapter in the book was taking it from a perspective of being mentored. So I wrote about my mentor and the journey that I took to discover that I needed a mentor, that I needed to work with someone to help me put my pieces back together, which is the title of my chapter, or it alludes to my chapter's title. And I feel that I do all three. I think I talk to an audience that may feel disconnected or disjointed, an audience that maybe has felt that they were in the shadows, right? And so I addressed it from that perspective. So in that concept, I reached. And then I talked them about the process that I took to discover that I needed to work with somebody. I needed someone to kind of take my hands and help guide me. And then, of course, that's leading the reader to do the same thing.
I like what you said, the name of your chapter again about the pieces.
Mhm. Pieces in transition.
Pieces and transition. Now that sounds like a very good read because we're all broken vessels. If you really think we're cracked vessels that God used, God doesn't use perfect vessels. And some of us been cracked just a little bit more than others. So thank you. Thank you so much. That was great. Miss Tiffany.
Hello, I had to
Hey,
click that unmute button real quick. How are you?
I'm fine.
So my chapter is called A Predestined Purpose. And I said earlier how this resonated with me almost as soon as Dr. Short shared what the concept of the anthology was going to be. And that was because I, much like Dr. Short, have had this book in my spirit and my soul and just as a seed since I want to say about 18. And so when she mentioned the anthology, I thought, you know what, this is God giving me the space to take that baby step into something that I've kind of been putting off. And the main reason is because of the topic of being mentorship. The person who I wrote about is actually the person who initially spoke this book into my life. She said, you are meant to share this story. You are meant to bring your testimony forward because there are other people who need it in order to make it through their test. And I had been putting it off. And so when Dr. Short told us about what she wanted to do, I thought, you know what, this is a perfect way to not only honor her for planting that seed in me and speaking that into me as a word, but also to, like I said, help me push forward into it. And then that's why it's called A Predestined Purpose, because that was the topic I came up with her. I actually started writing the book when I was about 18 or 19 with my mentor. She had it on those old school, it was a blue floppy disk So I'm aging myself a little bit. So like I had several chapters of my book already written, and I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna take this one from that and make this the introduction. And Dr. Short told us, she was like, an anthology can be the first step towards your own individual book. And that's how I'm seeing this for me. And when you ask, do we reach, teach, or lead in our chapters? I actually feel like I did all three. My story told, like I said, how my mentor influenced me, how she was a part of my life. She was actually my youth pastor as well as my older cousin. And she influenced a lot of who I became, who I am now, and how I got through a lot of struggles in my teens, including being a teen mom at 17. And so I think that my chapter does teach other teen moms that, hey, yes, things happen. Yes, you may have seen this as a stigma on your life, but it doesn't have to be that way. So I think that was that reaching and that teaching part. And then as far as the leading part, I think it's helping other people or other people who may have grown up in the church like I did to see that just because you grow up in the church doesn't mean that's all you are. You do have to still come to that fruition of who you are to be fully on your own. And that's what I had to do. And my chapter tells a bit of that journey and how I got from that point of thinking I had to just be what all the people were telling me I was, because, hey, your mom's an evangelist and your aunt's the pastor and all of this. So this is who you are. I had to get outside of what they told me I was and instead understand that God had somewhere that he wanted me to be, and I had to accept that for myself. So I think my chapter touches on all of those things, and I'm super excited for everyone to read it and to get the full story of how my mentor helped get me to where I am now. And also it also tells a bit about her impact on the lives of others. Like I said, she was a youth pastor, so she was definitely the embodiment of what I feel a true mentor should be.
That's good.
I like what you said about how in the church we are assigned roles. If you think we are assigned roles, period, even in the world, because you hear people say, well, I thought you was a Christian. I say, how would they feel if we say, I thought you was a heathen? Why are you doing good things? You know, so you think as a Christian, I'm supposed to always do good things. So I'm going to expect you always supposed to do bad things. And it's funny how they have this role that we're like mini Jesus, like literally just walking the earth and not sinning and everything. And I'm like, we have issues too. We're in the flesh, but we have connected with a power source that has taken some things out of us that, maybe is saving you right now, from being lashed, giving a few lashes,
And
so
also
people don't know our journey.
yes, and that's what if none of us were meant to stumble or to fall or to be human, what would grace be for? What's
Right.
the purpose of grace?
That part.
You're not supposed to actually have those moments where you're like, okay, God, I don't know what to do right now. I mean, Jesus even had that moment where he said, oh, can you take this cup from me? So if we all have those moments, we have to give each other that leeway, and we have to understand that sometimes your purpose, although it may be destined in God, it may not be something that you embrace right away. It may be something you have to grow into or to learn to understand or to accept. Or maybe when I was 18 and she said, write the book, I wasn't there yet. But now that I'm 45, I'm like, okay, I see who that 18-year-old girl was, and I know how to be her voice a little bit better now.
That's good.
I
That's
love
good.
it.
Thank you, Tiffany. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Miss Z, how are you?
Thank you, thank you. I believe just like Tiffany, the book just came straight landing on my lap. Like it was an opportunity that I could not have bypassed, because we all know, we always look for like, how is Jesus talking to me? Like, how is he talking to me? Where I'm going to find that voice, right? And we don't know that he talks pertaining to others. Other people send messages, and that's how we have to listen, right? And it came to me, and I was like, I don't want to do it. I don't think it's right. I don't know. And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just go ahead and do it, because I've been manifesting it and it's been on my vision board. And I just been making sure that I am going to write a book. If I'm going to write it, it's going to be impactful, right? I didn't necessarily knew what that impactful reason was. So when the opportunity came, and I was like, it's a collective effort. I don't have to do, a whole chapter and then feel guilty if it is not successful, right? So I just go with it, go with the wind, Take a shot, and it's been a very therapeutic process for me. It's been a energy booster, a confidence booster, and it allowed me to dive deeper into that little younger girl, right? Because what we don't understand and we don't realize in a young age is that we have been touched by someone in a long throughout our whole life, even our adulthood, but it starts young. But because our minds are not mature yet, we don't understand that mentorship part of it, right? Now, when we get older, we're like, I remember and so said something. She, or he did something, and I remember very briefly what that something was. But that's mentorship. That's impact. So
Yep.
in this book, my chapter is called The Formula of Her Lifetime, and I pay homage to my godmother, who played a vital part in my upbringing, right? And she recently passed a year ago, and I feel like this opportunity was a way to just pay tribute to her and just give her her flowers, both when she was alive and for future to come.
Wow. So timing was, it seemed like for you three women, the timing was perfect. The opportunity was there because of Dr. Anissa. What do you think about what um the three ladies have talked about so far before we get to you, Miss Jen?
Right. So my
I'm
chapter does all three.
uh-huh.
And it does reach lead and teach. And
Okay.
there you'll find a formula that I believe was a formula that my godmother unknowingly knew that this is how she wanted to live and walk her life.
That's
This is
good.
something that I seen through her and many other people seen through her. So it's a great chapter. It does reach teach and lead, and it's just it's a great part to be in a book collectively with just that little touch of a formula that makes a greater impact.
Okay, Dr. Anissa, did you want to
Yes.
weigh on what your three authors, co-authors have spoken about?
Listen, when I tell you the stories, because I've read everybody's story, I purposely didn't because they would submit their chapters for editing and things of that nature. I said I'm not gonna read anybody's story. Not well, I did read Z because she asked me to. But anyway, I said I didn't want to read anyone's story because I wanted everybody to feel comfortable and and from a place of authenticity. Not that I doubted that they would. I didn't want to feed into anything. I just gave them the concept of what the book was to be about. I wanted them to feel to be authentic and to speak from a place of transparency that they felt comfortable with. I truly believe that the things that we experience in life and things that sometimes happen to us, the best way to get past it is to understand that it really wasn't about you. It's for somebody that you're supposed to come into contact with. And if you have the courage to tell your story, you're going to make a difference in the life of someone else. So I had no doubt that everybody who said yes, I just trust God with this. I knew this was an assignment, and I said, well, whoever responds, that's who's going to be a part of the book. And so as I began to read the stories, I was like, oh my God, they're so different. Oh, this is so juicy good. I was like, they understood the assignment. This is great. So for them now to say, and some of them have shared that with me personally, I don't think it was by accident. I know for a fact that nothing is coincidental as a believer. It all happens the way it's supposed to. And so that's what I believe about this book is that those who were supposed to be a part of it are a part of it, and their stories are the stories that needed to be shared. And I have no doubt it's going to make a significant difference in the lives of those who read it.
Thank you, Jen. All right. Wrap us up on this question, Miss Jen.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. K.
You're welcome.
My chapter is about my experience as a teacher of high school students. And, mine is about accidentally falling into mentorship as I age and seek God and love Him and want to impact the next generation. Because I did not have strong mentors growing up. And what's really cool is that I've been in Fayetteville 17 years, but within the last year and a half or so, two of the authors that aren't on this podcast are actually local mentors to me. So finally, in my mid 40s, I have a couple mentors now. And I just find that so funny. But mine is really about, imparting love, life wisdom, goal setting, practical things for my students And many of my students that would seek me out for things like that were either in the foster care system or were trying to get emancipated because their home lives were so bad. I have a bonus daughter I even mentioned. I never legally adopted her, but she knows I consider her my non-biological daughter. And she would come stay with me on the weekends out of the group home so that she didn't have to be in the group home the whole time. And it was all because of kids I met just teaching. One of my favorite mugs is from a kid who I never even taught. He just came in my room and felt comfortable, and he knew that he was loved and accepted there. And so getting to have the ability to teach them things they need to know for society, and to just show them love really is just such an incredible blessing in my life. And then to hear the wisdom of these other ladies, my goodness, I have read about 3 other chapters now. I cannot wait to read everyone's chapters.
It's amazing how you already were living out the Titus 2 principle, because like you said, you was helping out your bonus daughter and then also other children in your class. You wasn't there just to teach. You was also there to reach, and you was also there to lead. So it
Right.
sounds, I can't wait once again to read all of y'all's stories.
Mm-hmm.
So we got one more power question for you. Why is mentorship valuable and important to the growth of society? So do two of y'all want to elaborate on that, two of the co-authors? And then we'll let Dr. Anissa speak on it also.
I just want to quickly
I'm
say
sorry,
that
Monica.
it's
Okay.
transformative. No, that's all I wanted to say is that it's transformative. I'm sorry, Jen.
No.
Okay, transformative, right? And Jen?
You know, it's a cliche for a reason, but we truly don't know what we don't know. And so unless someone comes alongside us and is willing to invest in us and willing to pull us and teach us and encourage us, we can just be out there floating. You know, I was floating till my mid-40s waiting for a mentor. That was hard.
And and I think also that it's important to society, because it's like you need to follow a person that's went before you. People, we don't understand. We're forging a path, and the path that we are forging, somebody's going to come behind us and walk that same path. Because if you think about it, when somebody do something evil, all of a sudden everybody else start doing it. It just and so it's out there in the atmosphere. And so we have to put things out there in the universe, or the atmosphere, as they say, that lead people to God and to Christ. So mentorship is very important, because a lot of people are lost out here. We see it every day. Our young people are definitely lost, trying to find themselves, trying to identify who they are. And a lot of them are lost because the father that gives the identity is not really in their lives. So they're just trying to figure out, who am I? And so a mentor comes along and give them the direction that they need. So Dr. Anissa, would you like to weigh in, and then we'll go into a break?
So for me, mentorship, I don't know what you want to call it, but mentorship is a necessity. You know, we may not use it. It's very necessary. So if I in my number of years of life have if I've experienced some things, well, I could just use the fact that I've been a home-based entrepreneur since 1999. Okay, I've operated a business from home since 1999 as a female. I know what it's like to be a wife and having a balanced life and do all of this stuff as a home-based entrepreneur. I know what it's like to have low confidence in certain areas. I know what it's like to hit a goal and miss a goal, that type of thing. And so what I tell a lot of the ladies that I mentor, I say, listen, there is, as a new entrepreneur, trust and believe, sis, there is nothing that you're going to face that I hadn't already faced. So let me give you the tools that I already know to be able to help you matriculate through what it is you want, so you can avoid some of that. That's what a mentor does. They help you to avoid some of the pitfalls. So when I say I made pitfalls, I don't look at my errors as really mistakes. It's just what I learned. I learned how to do it better. I learned how to do it the right way. And so with me mentoring someone else, I help them to avoid, and so they can go further, because they don't have to go back and fix what they messed up, right? So even as a new mom, if you got a new baby and you've never been a mother before, that's why it's good for your mom or another mother figure to be there to help you learn, what is it like to breastfeed? What's going on with this baby? Why is he crying so much? What is colic? All of that kind of thing, because they've been through it. So when people think they isolate themselves, they do themselves a great disservice when they choose not to be a part of community. And as a part of community, you want to find the community that's going to nurture what it is that you desire to do and desire to become. And that's what mentorship is all about.
Mm. All right. On that, we don't have to say anything. She put a period at the end of that. So we're about to go into a 60-second break. And so during the break, Dr. Anissa is going to give us a short talk. And then I'm going to go out there and look on Facebook and see if you've been commenting. I told you, get your fingers ready, put them comments out there. So go ahead, Dr. Anissa.
So I'm thanking you again, Dr. K, for this opportunity. And for those who may be watching, listen, I definitely want you, if you have not already, secured a copy of this book, because the authors that are a part of this package or this project are phenomenal. They come from various places. I have a gentleman out of Michigan that's a part of it. He's an educator. I have another man out of the state of Georgia who has dealt with suicide and mental illness, and now he's a mentor. There's a retired military. We got that in here. We've got military wives, we've got educators, we have a menagerie of personalities that make up this book. And so their stories collectively, individually and collectively, are going to make an impact. And let me tell you something. The energy and the excitement about this book has been building, and I worked behind the scenes with the authors to make sure, you know, their chapters are correct, that I had their bios and their best picture representation and that type of thing. And I'm pleased to announce that as of January 1, our book is an Amazon bestseller. So not only are all these authors, but for those, especially for them, those that may have not have written, that was a gift I wanted to give, for them to be able to say that they not only co-authored a book, but they're an Amazon bestseller. So as they use this book on their platforms, as an educator, as a therapist, as a social worker, as a mentor, they have something that they can use tangibly as an extension of themselves, but then also their bio can be updated to say, I'm an author, I'm a best-selling author. So yes, so I want you to get your copy. And if you know any of these authors, if you've not already ordered, go ahead and order on January 19th. We're having our launch and book signing. And if you live in a nearby area, we want you to come out, pick up your book, enjoy the festivities, take selfies, and eat some chicken wings. That's what we want you to do.
So you're going to make me fly down there just for the chicken wings. Could
Come
you
on,
give us
Dr.
your
K, come
website?
on.
I love chicken. I think my mom or whatever ate nothing but chicken when she had me. So could you give us your a website once again? We kind of old. We probably forgot, Dr. Anissa.
My website is my name, anissashort.com. You can connect with me there. And yeah, that will be, and then you can find me on all of the social media platforms as well with that same name. Yeah, that's the best way to reach out to me.
Okay, okay. So tonight we got out there Renee, Michelle McKinney, Elizabeth, Gagner, who is the 2023 Ruby Girl of the Year. We have Ebony Walker. Hey, Ebony, I truly want to thank you for this connection. Annette is out there, Maxfield, Blair Cherie, and Mr. Bowens. And Katrina Stewart, she's out there. So we have Michelle said, "Come on, sis. You was talking so good." She like, "Come on, sis."
Michelle is one of the co-authors. She's one of the co-authors, as well as Ebony Walker.
Okay, great, great. Renee is out there, #1 fan of Ruby Girl, Renee. And then Mr. Bowen said, "Congrats, guys. Congrats so much." And so it won't always show me all the rest of the comments, but if you made a comment, if you share, I just want to say thank you, because it looked like we got 7 shares out there. So it's a lot of people that's out there watching the broadcast tonight. So we go to the second part of the show, and so we change it up just a little bit on the second part. So I want the authors, just briefly, tell us the benefits of being a part of this anthology project and getting a chance to share your story. So you kind of shared a little bit of that in the beginning when you talked about your chapter and how important for some of y'all, you've been wanting to write a book or share what was inside you since maybe you was a little girl or anything. But give us somebody that wants to work with Dr. Anissa or that's thinking about doing an anthology, tell us about how it feels. Give us a list of benefits. And then the bonus is, how was it working with Dr. Anissa? Like I say, it's a safe place, y'all. So who wants to go first? All right, Miss Jen.
I hope I'm not talking too much.
No, you go right
Um,
ahead.
Anissa is amazing to work with. Like, she has guided us through this entire process. She has always been on the ball. She's always been wonderfully communicative, very clear in her communication of what to expect, what she needed from us. And she's a joy to work with. Like, look at her personality. How could you not love to work with her? And it's wonderful for me because I've had an anthology on my heart for years and had no idea how to make it come to pass. And so now I know I would either be able to do it, or I know the exact person who would be able to do it for me. So that's just amazing to me. But it truly is she could not have made it any easier for us than she did. It's been amazing. And I thank you for that.
That was
Thank you, Jen.
That was beautiful. So this one benefit I got for Jen is that working with Dr. Anissa and doing this anthology gave her an opportunity that she had been looking for to share her story. And Dr. Anissa did it in such a way, created such an environment that it made it easy for Jen to connect and to also feel like, hey, this is a safe place for me to share. All right, Miss Tiffany.
Yes, ma'am. So working with Dr. Anissa Short, oh my goodness. So we have worked on in different capacities outside of the anthology, but working with her on this has been a complete insight into her passion for what she does, her commitment to excellence. Again, I'm going to repeat that part. Her commitment to excellence is something I can totally relate to. It actually reminded me a lot of the mentor that I wrote about in my chapter. She's very much that here's how it needs to be done. Here's why, and let's do it. And there's like no boundaries on the how many times you can ask her about it. I may have sent a few extra questions here and there because I have somewhat of a perfectionist spirit. So I need to know like all the details. And I just give her all the kudos for holding on to her commitment to what she's doing, but then also giving you that level of patience where she's like, okay, I understand if you don't understand, and here's how I'll explain it to you. And when I tell you Dr. Short covers every form of explanation, she will send you a video, a voice clip, a text message, an email,
and an image. Don't forget the
and
images.
and a graphic. So whether you need a visual lesson, audible lesson, however you learn, she has got it covered. And I love her for it. So I'm just so grateful and happy. And this experience has been so awesome for me. I've already signed up to do another anthology with her.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. I am really impressed. I'm really impressed. So, one of the benefits you got from being a part of the anthology was definitely the experience of working with someone that was patient and was able to communicate no matter what your teachers, what your learning style was. So, she was able to also mentor. Also, without her even knowing, she's mentoring you. And that's what I love about it. You just think anthology is just writing a story. It's more than that. It's connections. Oh, wait a minute. I don't want to put out all my spills and my benefits and all that. Y'all ain't ready. So I'll keep saying Dr. Z, Miss Z.
Hey, speak it.
It's
Yeah,
coming.
Dr. Short is just top tier. She is very much top tier. She is very transparent. I've been coming to her about every little thing, and I'm like, I'm sorry if I'm asking you crazy question, and she's like, no, girl, that is great. I'm like, really? Okay, yay! I know what I'm doing now. So it's really, really great. It was really great working with her. I feel like it's not going to be the first nor the last. She has definitely hold all of our hands throughout this whole process, and she has enjoyed it very much as well. All through vacation, all through her personal life, she just loves what she does. And when you do love what you do with a passion, it doesn't feel like work and it doesn't feel like a hassle. And she has not shown it not once. And I just want to give her kudos to her because she has just provided just an awesome experience to me, but I'm pretty sure to all the other co-authors as well. So yes, ma'am, you did that.
Thanks,
So,
thanks Z and Tiff.
so listening to Miss C, what I picked up, and from all of y'all, I picked up a level of confidence that you got from writing this anthology too, because you said you asked a lot of questions. Oh, I'm doing the right thing, and I can just see that she helped you with your confidence level. You thought you was just like I said, writing something, but it's deeper than that. God just don't have us do something without us benefiting from it if we're helping other people. So, Dr. Anissa, you created a great environment. You created an environment for people to grow, to develop,
Yeah,
and that's awesome. So,
thank
Miss
you.
Monica, you want to
Yes,
sum it up for us?
I can. Anissa, you're a wonderful, wonderful person. I loved everything about you. And I didn't go into this process with doing an anthology. It wasn't in my on my heart. It wasn't anything I was tracking, but I trusted her
Mm.
and I trusted the process and I trusted the opportunity and I went with it. And I loved every aspect about it. So for those who are looking to work with Dr. Short in the future, she's trustworthy. You can
Thank
give her
you.
your story and she will take care of it. You know, she will nurture it. She will nurture you. She will support you through the process and help your vision or non-vision in my case come to fruition. So she was trustworthy and a joy to work with. And I agree with all of my co-authors with everything that they've said as well.
Thank you, Monica.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
That is great. Okay, let me see. I got a pull. Let me see. Do I still got it? So, one of the benefits that you got from working with Dr. Anissa is that I pulled out that you found a safe place, because sometimes you might share your story and somebody might say, well, no, I don't need you to write about that. I need you to write about that. But she gave all of y'all an opportunity to share what was inside of you and let you know that it was acceptable to share that. And that's part of, once again, creating the right environment. It is, in this age, it is so rare to work with somebody that has a God standard operation. We know we work with some people that we were like, I would never even speak to them again, let alone even try to connect with them. So that says a lot about Dr. Anissa and the standards that she holds. I can tell she has a bar and she don't lower that bar for anybody. She's like, you come up, I'm not coming down. So Dr. Anissa, you want to just summarize what they said, but then also I want you to let the audience know why they need to secure a copy of the Titus 2 principles: reach, teach, or lead.
But well, first, I want to say thank you all for your kind words. This was not a paid advertising of any type. You know, I did not send them a check. But what I will say is that I take what I do seriously. I don't want it to be, I don't want it to be tacky. I don't want it to be, you know, and then too, this is not my first anthology project. And I know a lot of times that the people I have the privilege of working with have never published before. So I don't ever want them to just be giving a task to do. It's important for me that they understand the why behind it. And I think I hope I did a decent job of that. And that's why, as Tiffany said, I provided so many visuals and so many representations because I know people learn differently. So I want them, and I think that's a part of the trust process. It's one thing to say, great, you're a part of the project, go ahead and write. But then I wanted to explain every step of the process. And this is what we're going to do next. And this is why, you know, and you don't have to participate at this point, but let me tell you why we're doing this. And so if they chose to publish again, they would trust me enough to know that I know what I'm doing first and foremost. But even if they chose to go with someone else, they have enough information to know when something doesn't feel right or this is different from the previous. I want this to be a learning experience. And so I'm hoping I was able to offer that as well. Why is this book important? Because we need more mentors. Our children are bananas. I mean, it's a lot going on. We need more mentors for our youth, but then also as adults, we need to understand the important role that we play in the lives of those that we're around. And so I believe these stories speak to that, you know. So I think this book is important for not only those who may read it, but even for the co-authors, because they all have a platform and this book becomes an extension of them. This book, their story can go to touch someone that they may not ever have an opportunity to meet personally, but their story can make a difference, you know. So, and then the collective stories are powerful. So each story serves a great purpose, but when they're combined together, we collectively have positioned ourselves to not only make a difference in those people's lives that we know because they read the stories, but also for those we may not ever meet. And that's one way our legacy and our impact can go beyond ourselves, because we've actually put it in writing. And so everybody needs a copy. Secure your copy now. Give it to your graduates, your graduating seniors, college students. Give it to your mom and them, buy them as gifts, just whatever. Just whatever.
So how do we secure the bag?
You're
The
going to
book.
secure the bag first. If you know any of the co-authors, my first thing, a bit of advice is that if you know any of the co-authors personally, I want you to reach out to them and order the book from them, and because they will autograph it for you. And so I want you to do that. If you do not know any of the co-authors, you can just go to Amazon.com and secure your copy. That would be the easiest thing. But I would prefer that everyone reach out to a co-author. Maybe even if you don't know them, you see Jen is an educator. Maybe you are an educator and you can connect with another educator that may be more comfortable for you. You know that Monica is a social worker. You might too be a social worker. Reach out to Monica. Even if you don't know them, I would much rather you order from the author, but if not, go to Amazon.
All right, great. So all right, y'all, it's time for us to close out for the night. And so each one of y'all have 1 minute, 1 minute to share. And so this is the book that we've been talking about tonight, the Titus 2 principle, reach, teach, and lead. So if you're just coming in, these are the visionary author was Dr. Anissa Short, and the co-authors joined her on tonight. So y'all have 1 minute to say anything that you want to say, and we'll start with Miss Jen.
Thank you, Dr. K, so much. In closing, I want to encourage others who find themselves mentoring younger people, especially if you don't feel equipped. You have so much more to offer from your life experience than you realize. Be selective in what details you share with people based on your audience and professional boundaries, such as a teacher-student relationship. I'm not going to go sharing who I went on a date with or something, but share concepts that you feel are important, and definitely share the life lessons. A lot of people in society suffer consequences that they don't have to suffer simply because they made decisions that weren't the best because they did not know better. Be willing to be the friend or mentor who takes some heat or gets a side eye from society because you stuck your nose where it didn't belong. Use your life experience and hurts to help others and help them avoid the same pain. A true leader cannot live life as a people pleaser. But you don't want to be like standoffish either. There's a balance, right? As Christians, how we say something matters so much. So filter your tone, your facial expressions, and I have to work on that all the time because I'm blunt by nature, and filter your tough love with kindness. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jen. Those are powerful words. Miss Tiffany?
Hello, everybody. So in closing, I just want everyone to purchase their copy of this book. The reason I'm saying that is because each of us are sharing pieces of our stories. And I think that it's going to be able to give you each different seeds that you need in order to become the mentor that you can be in your life and to those around you. This book for me has been the fulfillment of a promise that I made to my mentor. Sadly, she has passed away. But one of the last things she said and did for me, she called me and she reminded me about my promise to write that book. And she actually said, Tiffany, I still know this is in you, and I'm going to make sure that this comes to fruition. And when she called me, I didn't even realize she was sick. And the next thing I knew, I think maybe a week or so later, she had sent me a check to fund the book that she knew she wanted me to go ahead and so for me, this is almost like a full circle moment because I'm able to do and to fulfill that promise that I made to her. And my cousin, which is her son, he's actually watching right now. And I told him, when I called him and told him about this book, he was like, oh my God, I didn't even know she did that. And she did it, and then she passed away. And I was just like, okay, God, how am I going to do this now? Because I still hadn't made that step forward. And then it wasn't until Dr. Short came forward with this concept, and I said, thank you, God, here it is. And so in my chapter, I want to be able to share the results of what a mentorship can do, because I'm the result of her mentorship. For us, for the youth that I grew up with, my mentor was our Moses. She opened a lot of doors for us. She led the way through a lot of things that none of us expected us to be able to make it through. And so that's what I want my chapter to do in this book, to help lead people and to help show people when you do mentor and when you plant those seeds in others, they do come forth. Even if you're not there to witness them, others will be.
Okay. Could you give us
That's
your
good.
contact information? And Jen, could you put your contact information in the chat?
So you want me to verbally say my contact information or put it in a chat?
Oh, you can go ahead. You
Okay.
can verbally say it.
So
And you can
you
put it in
guys,
the chat too. Yeah.
okay, so you guys can find me at tiffanyhaywood.com. I'm also a lifestyle blogger at themrst.com. I have tabs for purchase of the book on both of my websites. And if you're watching via my page, I also included a link to get the book through me as an author on my page as well. So you can do that, and it'll let me know you want to pre-order. It'll let me know that you want me to sign it for you, all of that good stuff. And I will also leave my contact info in the chat box as requested by Dr. K.
Okay. All right. Great. Great. Could you put it in the Facebook chat? Sorry, Facebook chat. All right. Okay. Miss Monica.
Well, this has been an honor. Thank you, Dr. K and the Ruby Girl platform and Dr. Short for making this happen. I did some research prior to this just because I wanted to become more well-versed in the subject matter beyond what I already know. And I was reading about intergenerational mentorship, which to me speaks a lot to what I talked about in my chapter. The mentor that I talk about is a lady who is older than I am, in a different profession than I am. And I sought her intentionally because I wanted that connection. I wanted to be able to reach back and to look to see about some pieces that I didn't necessarily feel I had from that particular generation. And I believe that the intergenerational, that's a long word, mentorship is really important, because not only can I use the nuggets of wisdom that she's given to me, I can pass that on to generations that come after me.
Yeah.
So to piggyback off of what Tiffany was saying, I think you should really get this book, because it comes from different perspectives. It shows everyone's relationship with mentorship and how they were able to mentor other people or receive mentorship, and how that mentorship impacted the lives of those people. So when we're looking at making changes in our society and in our world, it's important for us to look at how we are teaching others, whether we're doing it in a mentorship role or otherwise. How are our actions, our words, our behaviors, how is that informing and teaching other people? And this book can help be a guide to help us all do that a little bit better.
I love it.
Thank you. Thank you. Right. Miss Z, we have 2 minutes. Could you give us a 1 minute closeout? And also,
Absolutely.
Monica, I'm sorry. Also, Monica, could you put your contact information in the Zoom chat? All right. I'm sorry, Missy.
Absolutely. First of all, thank you so much for just opening up this space for us all. Thank you for the opportunity to be here today, and making it a little more easier for us to tell our story through others that we cannot reach globally. I would say if you secure a copy, you will have such greater benefit, not only for you personally, but to share with others. My point of view, coming from my chapter, is that I want to be able to touch younger kids that quite not yet know that how powerful mentorship is, and how it's beneficial, and it has been impacting them since they are little tiny bitty things, right? And for those kids that are coming from not so well lifestyles. For me, growing up in the Virgin Islands, a very poorest place in the Virgin Islands, I could not imagine being here today, being a co-author of a book. That is just not wasn't part of my vision, right? So just dreaming big and knowing that the impossible is clearly possible if we just make sure that we believe and walk through those hard knock lives, right? But I want to close out by saying, what does a mentor mean to me, and on my perspective? And it's someone who gives their perspective based on living life just a few more steps ahead from you. So whether you're young or old, anybody can be a mentor to someone. Anybody can impact someone, because we all come from different walks of life and we all have different life experiences. So mentor is not just based on you being older than someone. I want people and younger generations to know that you can make a greater impact. You can be a mentor to someone who's younger than you, right? Because we're looking for the positivity of it.
That's good. That's
Okay.
And
good.
buy the book. You're gonna have a little more of a low flavor on my chapter, because I am from the Virgin Islands, so you're gonna have a little bit of that island language on there. So just secure it, have fun with it, share it, gift it to someone. It's very impactful book, and these chapters are very, very, very well rounded and very influential. So thank you so much for the opportunity. My name is Zenaida Cranford. You can find me on Facebook and all platforms as Zenaida Cranford. Thank you so much. You guys
Okay.
have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Ms. Z. All right. Dr. Anissa, could you sum us up in 1 minute?
I think everybody said everything that needs to be said. Everybody needs a book, the copy of that for themselves. Buy one for yourself and gift another. Do both and then some. And for those who have already supported us by sponsoring, we've had some great sponsors, people who pre-ordered their books. We have some great business owners that have supported us. We want to say thank you to them as well. We hit bestseller status because our team did a phenomenal job of promoting the book, as well as others made purchase of the ebook in advance. This book is transformative. It's more than just a book, it's a movement. I hope it reinforces the importance of mentorship. So what I wanted to do is to celebrate those who are actively engaged in mentorship and to reassure them that they're doing a good job and to keep doing it. And for those who have not engaged in the principle and who've been thinking about it, is to give them the kick or the incentive or the push that they need to step out into the water and choose to be a mentor one way or the other, whether it be mentoring one individual or choosing to do group mentorship. It doesn't really matter. There is no right or wrong way. We just need more people engaged and committed. And so I hope this book serves as a catalyst to that.
Amen. All right. That was great. I want to thank everybody for being a part of the Ruby Girl talk show tonight. All the co-authors, and most certainly Dr. Anissa, and also everybody that was out in the audience that shared, that liked, that commented. I want to thank you so much. And I pray that this show reminded you that you are a mentor to somebody else, that you should be reaching, teaching, and leading somebody in your circle. That's what God has called us to do. The person that wins souls is wise. So just reaching, teaching, and leading, that is part of winning souls, cultivating souls, and helping souls grow. So I will be back next Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. at Eastern Standard Time. So all this month, I'm spotlighting authors this month. And so you will see somebody, I'm not going to say who, that's on this Zoom back again. I'm going to let you be surprised. But for all you ladies, thank you so much. Dr. Anissa, thank you so much. And everybody, please make sure you support her by getting this book. We need to support our authors that's out there. Until you write a book, you really don't understand the sweat and the equity that they put into it. So, all right, I just want to thank everybody tonight for being a part of the Ruby Girl Talk. I will see you next Tuesday at 8:30. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you.